Welcome back. Right now we're gonna make the tea bags. I'll just show you a couple of the ways that I've learned over the years. One of the ways is using a white pillowcase. Don't use a colored one, use a white one. Anything with the bare minimum amount of colors in it, right? And I'll show you what I'm gonna do when I get to the one that I'm gonna use, right? So this one here works good. It keeps the medicines really clean when you're boiling it. This one here I used quite a few times. This was my go-to one for a little while until I found the next one that I'm going to tell you about. But this one here, when you use it, the medicines get really dark and silty. Silty. And so it's totally up to you what you want to do. This one here is, I believe it was a mesh bag for clothing. Right? And whenever you use these for tea bags, try not to ever use any plastic at all. Actually, don't ever use plastic. It always has to be cloth of some sort, right? The very first way that I learned was with cheesecloth. What I did was I'd unwrap this, cut it in half, spread it out on the floor, put another layer, probably about 3 to 4 layers, spreading it out on the floor. From there, I'd dump all my medicine into it. I'd grab the 4 corners and just draw it in and then tie a string around it. It's a lot of work, which for beginners it's good to show your commitment, such like that, right? Also, what I found too is when you're using your string, try to use, actually just use any string that has no plastic in it again. Hemp probably works really good. I am going to go to hemp. I just bought so much right now that I'm going to use this up, and then from there I'm going to try the hemp, thick hemp rope. That way whatever ingredients go into your teas are natural as possible, right? This is the new one that I found out to use. You can get these in different sizes. These are the quarter bags, they call them, but they're for when you get a moose or a deer or something, and you put the hind quarter right into these bags that look like this. And as you can see, it's super long. And so what I did was I'm going to split it right down the middle. I'm going to tie a knot on it. Get her as tight as you can. And on the side with the opening on it, cut it on the bottom side of it, this side. That way, when you're finished cutting that, now, ta-da, that side there, I have one tea bag here, and I have another tea bag right there. Now I'm going to show you how it works. So when I'm cutting my stuff, I usually cut it into a bucket. And so all those ingredients that we found, so what I did was I cut a layer of the spruce tips at the bottom. And then from there, I started cutting the balsam pitch pockets. Whenever you work with balsam pitch pockets, you have to understand that they're pitch pockets. And so it's gonna leak. Like wherever you cut it, wherever you pop one of the little pitch pocket holes open on, it's gonna leak and drip all over the place. And so if you don't have it on top of something that you're gonna cook anyway, well, all of that goodness and medicine is gonna leak on the bottom of your box, on the bottom of your container, and just stay there. Whereas if you cut your balsam on top of a layer, right here, see? That there, underneath it is the layer of, it's all sticky, is the layer of spruce tips. And so now all those drippings are in the spruce tips on there, on it, so now I can boil it all, and none of it will be wasted. None will be wasted being stuck to your container. Right? Now, I'll show you how easy it is. Once you get your tea bag, and you'll notice almost everything I've been doing, I've always had gloves. It just makes it easier and cleaner and less sticky. It's just nice to have. And the reason I do the bucket trick is this right here. I can just slide this right over top of the bucket. And whereas if I had a cardboard box, I might have to transfer it by hand into it. This one here, I just flip it up, dump it down, and ta-da, I now have my tea bag. Right? And if you had two people, it would be awesome. One would hold this. But right now I don't. And so this next part that I'm going to show you is really important too. You have to kind of have a lot of rope. And so what I found out over the years is if you stretch out from finger or arm to arm like that, this length from this side here to this side here is the exact height you are. And so I'm 5'6", so that's 5 feet 6 inches there, 5 feet, come on, there we go, 6 inches there, and then I'm going to cut it. Everything I do is based around my body. I don't use measurements and stuff like that. It's what do you feel it should be like. And so after I cut it, I'm going to double it up. Tie that off. Once that's tied off, this is where two people come in handy. I'm not going to talk for a bit because I'm going to put this in my mouth. Run it down. And you're going to tie it where one end's shorter than the other because we want to have a long end on one side. And I do what they call a surgical knot, the very first knot. And all you're doing is tying a regular knot, but you're going to wrap it around twice. And that way when you tighten it, it won't loosen up. And then that gives me it gives me the capability to be able to tie more knots. One, two. And now I can let go. Right? But usually what I'm going to do now tie as many knots as you can. Ta-da-ta-da! And then we're done. Now the thing is right here, you're not necessarily going to need all this. I'm going to leave it on because I've just through experience, I'm going to leave it on. But what I used to do is I would cut that off right here. And all this stuff, this leftover, I'm going to use as a filter when I filter my tea out. Right? And so from here, it's going to go into my pot, right? And yesterday I went and gathered a bunch of water. Before that, and so all that water goes into my pot. And because I gathered this out in the wilderness, and it's good, clean, healthy water, it's gonna have a little bit of sticks and stuff like that, and it's just something you can't help. And it's not gonna hurt it in any way at all. Right? And, oh, I forgot my piece of paper to light my barbecue. So once you get that going, then you gotta get your barbecue going. Or not your barbecue, but your cooker. And there we go. Once that's done, this is where that little chunk of string comes in. Because I'm going to put 2 of these guys in here. And that string now, I usually get it a little bit wet just so it doesn't melt or burn. It's going to be just wrapped around my handle here. Like that. And the reason I'm going to do that is once I get my 2 tea bags in here, every half hour, one's going to be on top of the other. I'm going to rotate them around. But I have to be able to grab them and pull them out. Right? And I believe that's it. That's just 1 tea bag. Now this whole tea bag, I could do 1 batch with, no problem. I'm just doing 2 just because it's the way I do it. I might not even do the 2 actually now because this one's really big. Most of the time, my tea bags are about half of one of these jugs. This one was the whole thing. And so right now I'm feeling pretty comfortable. And I'm gonna smell it in about an hour or 2 because I'm gonna cook this now for 4 hours. I'll smell it in a little bit, whether or not I'll add it in or not. I don't really feel as if I'm gonna have to add it in, right? Okay, and so now that other jug of water, I'm gonna add it too. Oh no. There we go. And the second jug I usually just pour right over top of the tea bag. Just to get everything flowing and running and getting it rehydrated or whatever, right? And when I'm doing this in this size pot, I usually have, because I'm going to have to go back out again, I only had 2 of these. I usually have about 4 of these jugs of water. And that's just to top it up. As we cook it, it dehydrates a bit, and it's just to top it up. And on my pot, most things are all cook lines. And so once I go get more water, I'm going to fill it up to here. And I'm going to leave it above these 2 little dots all day long for 4 hours. I'll make sure that the water's always up there, right? And you'll see right now, it's a good start. And by the time I come back with the water, it might be on a rolling boil. When we're doing this outside, make sure that you kind of have, because I'm going to get another cover to cover here, to cover down here, so that the wind doesn't blow my propane out. And it heats up so much faster when you have some kind of a block, like a plywood or something, around the outside edge of it, and you don't use as much plywood. I hope this is all helpful to you. Have a great day. Laughter is the best medicine.